it's like being possessed, which is a good thing because I didn't have the terrible stage fright that I expected that would have fit with my sort of wallflower personality. It didn't happen. I would get up on stage and it was just about the music. I did have one unfortunate thing, which was that when I was really in the throes of the thing, you know, I was completely focused on conveying whatever dark song I was singing had to say. And I would look around at the band. I danced a lot and I would spin a lot, and I would catch the eye of each person in the band, and I could tell by their expressions that there was something going on with my face. And finally somebody spoke up and said, "Are you really mad at us? Are we playing that badly?" And of course that wasn't it at all.
That's
but
hilarious.
It was impossible for me to smile. And I was kind of glad about that. I didn't end up having to do that girlish thing. That would have made everybody much more comfortable. But it also meant that I was oblivious when the audience wasn't paying attention to me, which is also good, you know. Sometimes you're playing for an audience that's really waiting for somebody else to come on, you know, especially at festivals and stuff.
Yeah.
But I remember the first time I played a festival, it was one of these enormous Dutch summer festivals, and I came out and the kids were yelling, "Anna, Anna." And I thought, oh my God, it's real.
Wow. That's exciting.
That only happened once, but it was really cool.
Is there a concert that stands out to you in any way, like a best concert or most fun concert?
They all. Yeah. There was the one where we were all, by the end of the tour, we did this big tour in Europe in '86. That's where I met Michelle, and we played the first 44 dates in 44 nights. And they showed us a map of all the places we're playing, and the thing is, we're, you know, playing in Belgium and we're playing in East Germany. What they didn't tell us is that we were crossing Europe almost every day, because these things were not like in some kind of sequential order that went tidally across the map. No, we would go back and forth through the corridor, through East Germany to Berlin, and then go back and play in France, and then go up and play in Scandinavia above the Arctic Circle, which is another story. But we ended up on the last day somewhere in Portugal, I think, and every one of us was wounded. One person, the bass player, couldn't move his head. He had like meningitis or something. He was so sick. The keyboard player had to have a tooth pulled, and he's spitting wads of bloody cotton off the stage. And also his keyboard had fallen off the stand and exploded. It was a DX7, which is one of the ones I have up there, yeah. Well, when you take the lid off those things, it's 100 little tiny springs for every key. I mean, it took us all day to put that thing back together, and it still didn't quite work. And the saxophone player had been drunk and stepped on his saxophone. He only had 2 notes left. And the percussionist had been playing new cymbals every time we went to, because we didn't travel with drums. So he would get these brand new cymbals, and well, I think he had his congas and stuff with him. So his fingers were full of splinters. They were swollen up and they were wrapped in these bloody bandages. Michel had fallen with his guitars getting off a train. The guitars had landed on his hand, which was puffed up like a catcher's mitt. And
what was your injury?
Oh, I had been dancing on stage with bare feet. And I had accumulated quite a lot of broken glass in my feet. But every night when you get on stage, it was okay, you know, because you're sort of, yes, you're in this state of possession, so nothing hurts. It's only later. And then the morning of this last show, I had jumped into a swimming pool, and they had just poured gallons of bleach into that end of the pool, and I jumped in and opened my eyes like I always do, and wah! I got out and I was blind and when I got on stage that night, I still couldn't open my eyes. And so tears were just streaming down my face. My feet were bloody. I mean, we were such a mess.
Wow.
And then, this is 1986. This is the summer of Chernobyl. We were in Switzerland during the first rain, and Switzerland had its own little private radiation cloud. And all of the apothecaries had signs saying, iodine, specials on iodine, because iodine is something that helps you fight radiation sickness. And we didn't really get it. We knew about Chernobyl, we had heard about it, but of course, initially the information was really sporadic and inaccurate, and every so often our saxophone player, who was an extremely funny guy, would open a bottle of champagne and say, encore, and Chernobyl, another Chernobyl, boom. So in Switzerland, when it started to rain, of course, everybody disappeared, and we thought, this is odd, we're the only people outside. And then somebody said, get out of the rain, you're going to glow in the dark. So we did, and of course,
scary.
Yeah, it was, but it was also, we were young and vulnerable, and also really we didn't know until much later, nobody really did, how bad it was, except maybe the scientists who weren't really telling.
Wow. Yeah, so...
Yeah, so in answer to your question, hours later, there wasn't any, or wait, was this, never mind. You can just ask me
Well,
again
there was
if
a
I don't.
question, it was a question like, does the concert stand out?
Yeah.
So the one where
but
everyone
I'm
was
afraid,
hurt.
well,
that
but
one.
yeah, the
Yeah.
last concert was,
But you were possessed at all of them.
yeah.
So,
And there was always something in every concert, I think. In Liechtenstein, the audience stormed the stage, which was very flattering, but not something we expected. I mean, it was just so sort of, but it's only us. I mean, we're this tiny little band without like a big driving sound, but they didn't want us to leave.
wow. Oh, well, at least it was, they stormed it for a good reason.
Yeah, they were crying and patting our backs, and oh, that was so great, you have to play one more song. Okay.
And so,
Good stuff.
transitioning a little bit,
Oh, but then there was Scandinavia, where we played
Oh,
for
one more, no, tell it, say it.
ABBA's label, which I should know the name of. They brought us up there, and I got to meet one of the guys in ABBA who ran the label, who was there and kind of met me at the airport, and I knew about ABBA, but it wasn't my kind of music, But they were so nice, and in the end, they bought me 4 of the most beautiful champagne glasses because I had admired them in a store. Anyway,